But then they all celebrated at the end and they showed the replays and they had the beauty shot and they were about to go off the air. And Brian, all was right with the world. Your thoughts on the War Games match to this point?
I thought it was all right. Not for me. I like the classic War Games matches. I even love 89, which you've never really said nice things about, even though you were in it. But 91, 92 is a favorite. I'm not a big fan of WWE style War Games matches and wasn't a big fan of this one. I thought it was all right. You said they were getting ready to go off the air. The image at the bottom right corner of the screen, the copyright notice was up.
Yeah.
They were about to go off the air.
And suddenly, like Mussolini with extra cheese, broiled or fried, the cow must die. When the meat is done, then the toppings fly. You don't have to ask me if I want some extra cheese. I'm the cult of meat with extra cheese. The cult of meat with extra cheese. The cult of meat with extra cheese. Now with tomatoes.
Oh, stop. Come on.
It's been a long time, baby. It's been a long time since we cult a personality and like Mussolini. And here he came, and the people went absolutely batshit. It's Chicago. It's jammed. There's 17,000 people. The chants, they sent the baby in the air. There were men. It looked like they were hopping up and down. It looked like they were tearing up, if not crying, and some of them may have pooped themselves. I think I saw one of them shart. Again, the response was through the stratosphere. They went mental. And Punk looks great. His arms were bigger than half the guys on this roster. And that's why it needed to be Chicago. I said it at the top of the program. You can't buy a response like this. They acted like the goddamn Rock had returned. Or maybe even Kennedy returned. He was a megastar, and he knelt and did the watch point and did the it's clobbering time, and the whole fucking building did it with him. And he went to the railings and they were hugging him, and one guy was screaming, Chicago, Chicago, Chicago. They were out of their minds. It's again, you can't manufacture that. And for anybody that saw it that hadn't been watching AEW, they think, my God, this guy's one of the biggest stars in the history of the wrestling business.
And if you watched him in AEW, you said, wow, this moment seems so much bigger than all the moments in AEW.
Yes. He got the first one in AEW was similar because he drew a similar size crowd in a similar building. And then they couldn't follow up on it to save their fucking life. And it would have probably saved their lives. I'm talking about AEW. But they're pretty much out in the lifeboat right now.
When that happened, when he debuted in AEW, I remember what you said. You said they didn't do it the way I would have done it. They did it better. And that was one of the best moments in AEW history, the highest rating for Rampage. Just a high for AEW.
Yeah.
What about this moment here? Is this the way you would have done it? And if so or if not, what'd you think of the way they did it?
I think, honestly, I probably would have done it this way because you wouldn't put him in the match. I know when they milked Orton for, they probably had that in the back of their mind. Well, the fans may think it'll be him and then we'll double swerve or whatever. There was no need for him to be in a match. He just needed to make an appearance, to be there, the announcement needed to be made, and I think we talked about this several weeks ago, whether to make his intentions known, just to let people know that he was there, or just maybe make a challenge, maybe not say anything, whatever the fuck. You didn't need to book him. He didn't need to work. He didn't need to do an angle because this is big enough. If it had been Tony, he might have appeared in the locker room and after the first match and gotten a fight backstage in Seg 4 and been in the main event and, at the end of the show. But this is months of storytelling that they can do. So now the people know he's there and what the fuck is going to happen. You want the fans to ask the right kind of questions. You don't want them to ask, how did he get here? Or who is that guy? Or whose side is he on? Those things they need to know. But you want them to ask, oh my God, what's going to happen when so-and-so meets such and such? Or what's going to happen on Raw Monday night when they talk about what happened? That's good kind of questions.
And with Orton's return, I like the way they did it because it's like that classic WWE thing of Jake Roberts will be in the Royal Rumble. We haven't seen him in a while. What's it going to be? They didn't have him on TV. He didn't run in and do something. You had to wait to see.
Right.
And he was in great shape. With Punk, that moment, that surprise, there was only one way to do it and get it. And they got it. Everyone thought the show was over.
Yeah.
And then the music hit.
And apparently they rushed him in, already after the show had started and secreted him someplace. And then he went out. And that's why I said earlier, I don't know that any of the people in the match needed to know that was going to happen and possibly didn't, probably didn't.
I think they did for one reason, though. You don't want the wrestlers to get to a point where they don't trust the promotion, the office.
Well, but there's no double cross there because he wasn't interfering. He wasn't even coming into the ring in their segment. It was over. They're celebrating. Oh my God, here's a new surprise star to come out and look at you guys. And if you're a professional, then you could probably react appropriately to what you're seeing, but it wasn't a double cross that they had to know or it would compromise somebody's safety or fuck up the finish or the timing or make anybody look bad. So no, they didn't have to know.
Well, that was CM Punk's return to WWE. What was it? Almost 10 years in the making. It's going to be very interesting. I think everyone's going to tune in and want to hear what he's going to say.
Yes. And we will see if, because Raw has not been doing the level of SmackDown lately, and football's been involved and blah, blah, blah. But I think if they're going to do a number on Raw for anything other than one of these 30th anniversary, we're bringing back everybody from Hogan to fucking Bruno, it's going to be this Raw. So we will see what happens, and we will also need to see what happened with the Collision and Rampage ratings against Survivor Series this time. That's a whole different can of peas.
Do you put them on Raw because those rights are still up?
Now, say again, now what?
The television rights to Raw are still up.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry.
Is that why you would put them on there instead of SmackDown? Because SmackDown, we already know where it's going to land. They don't really need to do anything to hotshot the ratings right now?
Well, no, I think this week you put him on both. Because why would he be on one or the other? He just walked out. Nobody said he's signed to wrestle officially. Nobody said he's signed to wrestle or that he's going to be doing anything officially. So would he come out on Raw because everybody's demanding an explanation? What happened? We don't want to wait a week. We want to hear from this fucking guy. What's going on with you? Would that lead to him saying, as a matter of fact, I'm going to tell the folks at SmackDown my intentions also this Friday? Because he's not been assigned anywhere. He just got there. And as far as we know, he could be a wrestler, a manager, an announcer, or he was in Chicago because he was on his way to Mindy's Bakery. So capitalize. He doesn't have to be on one show or the other. He's not one of the talent roster. Make him an outsider. Maybe somebody wants to fucking challenge him to prove himself. Come on in. Who knows?
Do you put CM Punk in a match before the Royal Rumble? Whether he's in the Royal Rumble match or in a separate match, do you put him in anything before then? Or should we just have him talk?
I don't see why you would. I mean, I know there's a lot of money in television these days. And so it's not the difference between the pay-per-view is where you should make everybody pay to see everything, and TV ratings or whatever are not as important, but he's going to get ratings for talking. And if you put him on TV, just the idea of, okay, here's CM Punk's debut in 10 years in the ring in the WWE, it's going to be on Raw. What the fuck? That's not where Muhammad Ali's title fights or Mike Tyson's title fights would be, or Conor McGregor, or what. It wouldn't be on the free fight night broadcast. It'd be on the big pay-per-view, something to talk about, something to build to create interest in the whole fucking thing. The premium live event. So I would put him in the Rumble, but I wouldn't have him wrestle until he got there.
I've been saying it for a long time. Who knows when, but the biggest match in AEW history, Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk.
It's going to draw a fortune. Absolutely none of it for Tony Khan.
That's right. But hey, the Bucks are going to come back with a big heel run.
Oh, yeah. The only run they're going to have is the skid mark down their shorts when they see what the business they're going to be doing is by the time they come back.